Hi, it's Elise here at Bowman Library with a whole new middle grade book spotlight. So this week, we are doing one of our favorites from last year, but we can only do it once a year, and I'll explain here why in a second, because we are taking a look at books that are celebrating their 10th birthday this year. That's right, we are looking at books that were published all the way back in 2013. And there were some amazing books I'll promise you, we got a little something for everyone. We got the start of some series, we got some standalones, we got ones that were made into movies, even like recently we got one that was like made into a movie just I think last year. Yeah, we have some amazing books and I cannot wait to show them with you. A little bit of something for everyone. And they're celebrating their 10th birthdays, which is a huge accomplishment, which we gotta give them credit for. So let's get started. Our first one is Doll Bones by Holly Black, still going incredibly strong. So this is Zach, Poppy, and Alice. They are best friends who are 12 years old, and they're trying to cling to their favorite memories by playing with old toys, such as action figures, dolls, Barbies, and more, in a made-up game that they've created. Now the main character is the Queen. This is a creepy China doll that belongs to Poppy's mother, and it is off limits. When Zach's dad says it's time for him to grow up, throws away all of his toys, Zach is furious and he decides they need to be one final game and it has to involve the Queen. The friends find out that the Queen has been communicating with Poppy at night and that the doll is filled with the ashes of a girl named Eleanor. And the Queen has told Poppy that if they do not bring her to Ohio, find her grave, and properly bury her, that she is going to make their lives miserable. As the three friends agree to do this journey, to follow through on this, and they start this journey, scarier and unexplained events start happening, and they have no idea if they are even going to get there alive. If you like a good, slow burn, creepy story, Doll Bones. A Tangle of Knots, completely different from Doll Bones. I mean, I can promise you that. Again, a little something for everyone. So in a world just like ours, only a little bit more magical, many people have what is called a talent. And this talent is a skill which makes them special. Now for Katie, who's an 11-year-old orphan, her talent is that she can look at someone and know exactly what their favorite cake is, and then she can go ahead and bake it because she's an amazing baker as well. Living with Miss Mallory, whose talent is finding just right parents for orphans, but unfortunately at the point our story starts, she hasn't had that feeling yet for Katie. They're getting along. But one day Miss Mallory has that feeling. And when she does in her story, Katie finds herself unraveling her past, as well as being wrapped up in a plot that involves an evil talent thief, and Katie may find herself talentless very soon. If you enjoy a story that comes together at the very end in a way that you did not see coming, along with some magical realism, a little bit some good versus evil, some mystery sprinkled in, this has kind of all that and more, and it makes for an extremely enjoyable read. A Tangle of Knots. The School for Good and Evil. That's right, this book is 10 years old, and this series is still going, okay? So we're on 10 years on this one, okay? Every 4 years, in the village of Galvadon, 2 children are taken away in the middle of the night by a person only known as the schoolmaster, and they end up being students at the School for Good and Evil. It is there that one of the children will be schooled in the ways of good, honor, and beauty, while the other will be in evil, darkness, and villainy. When that night has come, Sophie and Agatha find themselves that they are the ones chosen by the schoolmaster. Sophie knows that she's destined for the School of Good, and Agatha is going to be going to the School for Evil. But they find themselves being in the opposite schools, and they will be put to the test in ways they never could have imagined. Now, if you love stories that take on a traditional fairy tale type idea and turn it upside down on its head, this one does that. Okay, and so I will, again, like I said before, this is the first in a lengthy series. It's still going. It's been 10 years, okay? So if you're looking, like, if you want a series that you're going to have plenty of books to keep you busy for a little bit, yeah. This would be a great choice. The School for Good and Evil. Flora and Ulysses. Okay, this was actually the Newbery Medal winner for that year. So you know it's going to be a good one, okay? Now it's Katie Camillo, who is like pure awesome as well. So Flora has a lot going on with her parents just divorcing, and she finds comfort and solace in reading comics, even though her mother wants her to read more traditional novels. When a squirrel is sucked into her neighbor's vacuum cleaner, Flora dives in, rescues the squirrel, and brings him back to life, only to find out that the squirrel actually has superhero powers, and now he can fly and write poetry. Naming him Ulysses, he and Flora start to bond, and Flora starts to open up to her heart back up once again, but her mother does not want a squirrel living in the house, and she will do anything to get rid of Ulysses. If you find yourself cheering for Flora and Ulysses, and you'll be wanting to make sure nothing happens to them, you will not be taking mom's side on this one, I can tell you that right now. This is Flora and Ulysses. The Colossus Rises. Okay, so this is the first in a series called The Seven Wonders. And I will tell you this right now. This was at the time of like 39 Clues. That there was a series, if you're not familiar with, that it was like a scavenger hunt type thing around the world, and each volume was written by a different author. So Seven Wonders is a little bit like that, and that the books are a little more lengthy, but each one was written by a different author. So our first one, The Colossus Rises, is written by Peter Larangis. Just to give you a heads up, so when you go look for book 2, it's gonna be a different author, okay? So in our first one here, we meet 13-year-old Jack as he is being kidnapped. And he's brought to this mysterious island where he meets 3 others who all have something in common. Okay, they've all been kidnapped, they find themselves there, and they find out that they all have a rare gene, which will give them superpowers if, and only if, which is a big if, they, quote, survive, because their chances at dying are actually pretty high. In order for them to survive, and this is why it's a huge if, the 4 of them are going to have to work together to find the 7 artifacts of Atlantis called Loki. The catch is that these 7 artifacts have been hidden in the 7 wonders in the ancient world, and they need to be found. But nothing is guaranteed, especially their survival. Now, if you enjoy an epic worldwide scavenger hunt that's based in ancient history, okay, so if you're into like ancient Egypt, Greece, all that type of stuff, yeah, like this type of deal, okay? This is the start of your perfect series, okay? So again, the series is called 7 Wonders. Book 1 is The Colossus Rises. Action-packed, keep you on the edge of your seat. Yeah, it's an amazing series. Book 1. And our last one is Better Nate Than Ever. So 13-year-old Nate decides he wants to be on Broadway so badly that he's gonna run away from his home in Pennsylvania with dreams of making it big, and he's gonna go audition for a role in E.T. the Musical. You will be along for the journey with Nate as he goes through situations he never dreamed of before, both good and bad, as he makes connections with fellow actors, wacky casting directors, cutthroat stage parents, and more. Nate stays upbeat through the whole process, falls in love with New York City, but here's the deal. You're gonna need to read the second book if you wanna know what's gonna happen, including if he's gonna get the part or not. That's how much of a cliffhanger this is, but it's super important that you read this one because the second one just totally uses stuff from this one. You won't understand what's going on in the second one. You have to read this one. Now, if you love musicals, if you love acting, if you have humor, friendship, this one's a must read, okay? It's been made into a movie. I think it's on Disney Plus, okay? But the book, incredible. Highly recommend it. Better Nate Than Ever. So these are just 6 of the amazing books that were published that are celebrating their 10th birthday. They were published all the way back in 2013, but they are still amazing reads, which we highly, highly recommend. So you can come on out, check out one of these. Or we do have other books from 2013. I can promise you that. Or if maybe 2013 is not your thing, not your jam. We even got books that were published last week. So we have a little bit of something for everyone. So make sure you come on out. We will help you find that perfect read you're looking for. I hope you have an incredible week and I hope you tune back next time with a whole new middle grade book spotlight.